in the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate. This is the story of Prophet Sulaiman, also known as Solomon, peace be upon him. He was the son of David, and he grew up in a home filled with worship and wisdom. God gave him knowledge, clear judgment, and a heart that loved gratitude. Even as a young man, his insight was distinct. When a case came before Dawood and Suleiman about a field damaged by a flock at night, God inspired Suleiman with an understanding that restored fairness to everyone involved. It was a gentle sign. Wisdom is a trust, and justice is an act of worship. God expanded Suleiman's gifts. He taught him the language of the birds. He placed under his command an army made of human beings, jinn, and birds, moving in ordered ranks. With all that power, Suleiman remained a servant who remembered his Lord. Strength did not make him proud. It made him more grateful. One day the army marched until it reached a valley where ants lived. In that tiny nation, a leader called out for safety as Suleiman's forces approached. Suleiman heard the ant and understood its words. He smiled with mercy and turned to God in prayer. My Lord, inspire me to be thankful for your favor, and help me do what pleases you, and admit me by your mercy among your righteous servants. Even at the head of a vast host, he paused for the smallest of God's creatures. Another day he reviewed the birds and noticed one was missing. The hoopoe was not at its station. Absence without leave was serious, but the bird returned quickly with remarkable news. Far away was the land of Saba. A wise queen ruled there. Her people enjoyed great provision and a mighty throne, but they bowed to the sun instead of to God, Lord of the throne. Suleiman listened and weighed the report. He did not rush to conquer. He sent a letter. It began with the name of God, the most merciful, the compassionate. Do not exalt yourselves over me. Come to me in peaceful surrender to God. The queen consulted her council. She measured the options. War destroys. Diplomacy preserves. She decided to test Suleiman with gifts. But prophets are not bought. Suleiman returned the gifts and made the truth clear. What God has given is better than tribute. He then invited her to witness with her own eyes. In his court, he asked who could bring the queen's throne before she arrived. A powerful jinn said he could bring it before Suleiman rose from his place. A man with knowledge from the book said he could bring it in an instant. And in the blink of an eye, the throne stood before Suleiman. He did not claim the moment for himself. He said, "This is a favor from my Lord to test whether I will be grateful or ungrateful." Gratitude is not only words. It is the way power is used. He ordered the throne to be altered slightly, so its recognition would be a test. When the queen arrived, she was asked if it was like her throne. She answered with careful insight. Then she was invited to enter a palace whose floor looked like still water. Thinking it was a pool, she lifted her garment to wade. Suleiman explained that it was a smooth floor of glass. The illusion broke, and with it the confusion that had covered the truth. She saw mastery granted by God, not sorcery. She declared her surrender to God, Lord of the worlds, along with Suleiman. The call of truth prevailed without war. It prevailed with wisdom, clarity, and patience. Suleiman's life was filled with remembrance and work. He prayed, "My Lord, forgive me, and grant me a kingdom that will not belong to anyone after me. You are the bestower." God answered with gifts that matched prophetic responsibility. The wind became subservient to him. Its morning course was like a month's journey, and its evening course the same. The jinn worked under his command by God's permission, building lofty halls, crafting statues and forms, shaping vast basins and great fixed cauldrons. A spring of molten copper flowed for him, ready for service. Those among the jinn who disobeyed were restrained. Those who worked were reminded that God sees what they do. In Suleiman's kingdom, labor itself became worship, and skill became a way to remember the giver. The Quran also clears Suleiman of the slander that others later invented. Some claim such authority must come from magic. God says that Suleiman did not disbelieve. He was not a sorcerer. He was a prophet, a servant honored by God, and everything he held was a trust. There was a day when noble, swift horses were presented before him. They were strong and well-trained, a sign of readiness in the path of God. As Suleiman admired their beauty, he sensed the pull of distraction. He brought them back and passed his hand over their necks and shanks, returning his heart to remembrance. The lesson was not to scorn what is good. The lesson was to keep love of good things in its right place, always serving the remembrance of the Most High. Suleiman judged between people with fairness. He organized his vast realm not to glorify himself, but to establish gratitude, order, and worship of the One. In his presence, the smallest voice mattered. The whisper of an ant, the flight of a bird, the rush of the wind, the hum of work. Each one was a sign for anyone willing to reflect. At the end of his life came a final sign. Suleiman stood leaning on his staff, overseeing the labor of the jinn. The decree arrived. His soul returned to its Lord. He remained standing, supported by the staff, and no one realized that he had passed. Time moved. Work continued. The unseen remained hidden. Then a small creature of the earth gnawed through the staff. It gave way, and Suleiman's body fell. Only then did the jinn understand that they do not know the unseen. Their knowledge, like all created knowledge, has a limit. God alone knows what lies beyond. This is what Suleiman's story teaches. Power is a trust, not a trophy. It should be used to build, to do justice, and to open a path to worship. Mastery over wind, metal, armies, and craftsmanship is small compared to mastery over the self that remembers God in ease and in command. Knowledge is light, not leverage. God granted Suleiman understanding and judgment, insight into the speech of creatures, and discernment with the Queen of Sheba. He took that light and walked with humility. He did not make knowledge a ladder to arrogance. He made it a path to gratitude. Creation is alive with meaning. The ants in their valley, the birds in the sky, the horses at full stride, the wind in its courses, and the jinn at their labor, all point to the one who made them. To hear that chorus, you quiet your ego and listen with a heart awake to signs. Miracles do not replace thought. Suleiman sent a letter before he sent soldiers. He invited before he compelled. He showed and clarified and let the queen see for herself. The glass floor did not deceive. It revealed. It showed that perception can be purified, and that when truth is seen, the heart finds its direction. And death is a teacher. Even those who move mountains return to God. The image of a prophet standing while lifeless is striking. Work can continue, but without remembrance, it becomes motion without meaning. The fall of the staff reminds us that every prop we lean on will one day give way. Only God remains, and to Him is the return. So remember the prayer he made when he heard the ant and when he saw the throne. My Lord, inspire me to thank you for your favor upon me and upon my parents, and help me do what pleases you, and admit me by your mercy among your righteous servants. That prayer is the heart of Suleiman's kingdom. It is the inheritance open to anyone who listens and answers. Peace be upon Suleiman, upon Dawood, and upon all the prophets. And all praise belongs to God, Lord of the worlds.